Okay, so the next topic is Python execution model. And in this section, we'll break down how Python actually runs your code from reading the .py file to executing instructions inside the Python virtual machine. Yes, we'll finally discuss how Python virtual machine actually works. Okay, when you run a Python program, there is three-step process. Okay, so let me quickly write it down. Okay, so we have three process. First is the interpreter. Interpreter reads your code. It reads your code. Then the second process is the code is converted into bytecode. So uh, where it is? Yeah, converted to bytecode. Byte code. Then the third and the final process is the bytecode is executed by PVM or Python virtual machine. So bytecode to machine code by PVM. Okay, so this is the three process that we'll discuss. Let's start with the first process. So in Python interpreter, now why is the laser? Okay, so when people say Python is a interpreter language, they refer to the fact that Python code is processed by an interpreter program. And we have discussed in the previous section only that how many types of interpreter are there and what is the specification, what is the specialty of each interpreter. And people usually use the C Python interpreter as it is the official and one of the most popularly used interpreter. 99% of people use C Python only. So the interpreter performs the following task. First of all, it reads your source code. So what it does is it reads your source code, reads what am I writing? Reads the source code, and it checks for syntax. Are the parentheses balanced? Are the colons used correctly? Is the indentation valid? And all of these things is checked during the interpreter process. Okay. If there is a mistake, you will immediately see a syntax error message. Okay. It will look somewhat like this. Now, if you're asked in an interview that syntax error is raised in which process of running a Python program, you'll say it will be raised during the reading of the source code or during the first process, the Python interpreter process. Okay. So this is just an interview question that just came in my mind. Then the step 2 is the tokenization. Let me write it here. Okay. Step 2 is tokenization. Don't mind my writing here. So second is tokenization. Okay, so what tokenization will do is it will split your code into keywords, identifiers, literals, and operators. Now we'll go into much detail of what token is and how tokenization process actually happens, so don't worry about that. For now, just think that your code is broken up into its individual units. Okay, into individual parts. Then the next process is this high level code, which is there in the form of tokens, is converted into lower level bytecode. Okay, so what is a bytecode? We have done the first process. Okay, we are done with the first process. The second process is converting to bytecode. So what is a bytecode? Bytecode is low level but not machine code. Now when I guess from the very starting only, you must have heard about uh, high level language, mid level language, and low level language. High level languages are Python and Java, and these are high level languages. The languages which are written in human familiar manner or language. Okay, middle level language like C, I guess C is part of middle level. So it, uh, it is written somewhere in middle. And low level languages are one step away from machine code, which means they are machine friendly, but they are not entirely machine code. Now, what machine code is? Machine code is actually the program that a machine understands. Okay. Now, if you want to go much detail into this, I'll attach a video of what machine code is and what all these languages are: high level, low level, medium level. If you want me to create a video, do comment down below. Okay. But just understand this thumb rule: high level language means it's for users, low level language means it's for machine. Okay. Then we have discussed the first part of what is a bytecode. It's a low level code. It's not a machine code yet, but it's a low level code. Second is it's portable, which means that bytecode, once the bytecode is generated, it doesn't matter that what OS you are using. The same bytecode can be run on Linux, same can be run on Windows. So it's platform independent. Okay, and this bytecode is then executed by PVM. Now let me quickly show you an example of bytecode. Let me quickly do an experiment and show you that how bytecode looks. Okay. So let's do one thing. Let me bring my keyboard here. So first of all, let's go inside Python. Import this. Now, for all the beginners, this might be intermediating for you, but just wait for a bit. Wait for a bit. What am I saying? Def add. Let's create a function, and we have a comma b. Then return. Let me add some spaces here also. Return a comma b. Okay, let's go outside the function and let's print this dot this of this function add. I hope I will get the correct output. Okay, so this is what the bytecode is. We are loading a, then we are loading b, then we are building a tuple, and then we are returning the values. Okay, you can also do something like this. Let's create the function again. A plus b, add, return a plus b. Let's now run the same command, and you will see, okay, loading loading a, loading b, binary add, and then returning the value. So this is what a bytecode is, and machine code also looks somewhat similar, but it's much more detailed on how machine should perform. Okay, so this was a quick showcase of how bytecode looks. Many courses will tell you that okay, bytecode is there in the process, but many of the courses will not show you. So this is how this course is gonna run. I'm gonna show you things in much detail. Okay. So yeah, the tokens is converted into bytecode. This is how the bytecode looked, and where is bytecode saved? So bytecode is saved in a .pyc file inside underscore py cache underscore folder. Okay, this is where the bytecode is saved. Now bytecode is not machine code yet. As I've already told you, bytecode is not machine code yet, and to convert this bytecode into machine code, we will need a Python virtual machine or a PVM. So once the bytecode is ready, PVM, the Python virtual machine, takes over. The PVM is the runtime engine of Python. So whenever someone asks, or whenever there's a question that what is the runtime engine of Python, so PVM is the runtime engine of Python. So it performs the following task. First, it executes the bytecode instruction. It does the memory management, garbage collection, managing stacks and frames, handling the exception, calling built-in functions, and interacting with C extensions. So these are the tasks that PVM is tasked with. And just to memorize this, imagine PVM like a loop inside Python, or why am I saying? Okay, remove that. Erase that. Imagine PVM as a loop which says take one bytecode, execute it, then move to the next bytecode. This is how PVM or Python virtual machine executes the bytecode, and this is why it is called an interpreter, because it is executing commands one by one. For example, as I've just shown you the CMD and shown you the code, if it's not closed. Okay, so yeah, uh, in this, what it will do is it will first of all load A, then it will load B, then it will binary add them A plus B, and then it will return the value. And how will it be done? It will first push A into stack, it will then push B into stack, it will then pop them and add them, and then push the result back into the stack and then return it. This is what the execution of PVM will look like. Okay. And since this process is step by step and there are multiple intermediate processes, Python becomes slower as compared to C, because every operator goes through PVM. The dynamic typing also adds some extra checks, and instructions are not executed directly on the CPU registers. Okay. So this is how your Python code is executed, or how your Python code, the code that you have written in somewhat English related language, is converted to a machine code. So let's do a quick recap. So first of all, the interpreter reads your code. Okay, it reads the source code, it tokenizes it, it checks for the syntax, then that token is converted into bytecode. Bytecode is somewhat similar, it's like just the one step before the machine code. So it is converted to bytecode, and then bytecode is converted to machine code using PVM or Python virtual machine. Okay, so this was how your Python code is actually executed. Now, for all those who are watching this as an individual video, you should also consider watching how different type of interpreters are used in Python. We have discussed in the previous section that we have C Python, we have PyPy, and we have J Python, and they all have different implementation. They all have different advantages and disadvantages. So do consider watching that. Since you have watched this one, do consider watching that also. So this was the basics. Okay, so till now we have discussed almost everything that is required for you to start learning Python. We haven't even touched the coding part yet, we haven't even touched the language yet. Okay, but I think now you're ready to actually go and start coding and start understanding the code, because now you know what happens in the back end. Okay, so yeah, this is the theory part that I wanted to discuss. Let's quickly get into the next section, which is, I think, tokens. Okay, yeah, so the next topic is tokens.